What's up, guys? This is the Vinyl Casket, home to the lamest taste. My name is Nick. You can check out my YouTube channel at the Vinyl Casket, all one word, where you can subscribe, like, a comment, hit the bell for much, much more. We do trailer reactions, TV and movie reviews, as well as talk about music and all sorts of stuff, as well as professional wrestling over at AEW. But every week we do a comic review. A weekly comic review where I go every Wednesday. I pick up my books, I read my books, I bag and board my books, take pictures in my light box for the Instagram, Vinyl Casket Comics, and then I sit down and I make a video on Twitch for YouTube for you guys. We go indies, then Marvel, then DC. We got all three this week. Two indie companies. I'm going to start off with a book from DC, though, that I haven't read yet, and I'm not going to read until this weekend. I'm saving it for the weekend. It is an anniversary issue with 10, 15 stories in it. So it's one of those thicker issues. It's the 30th anniversary of Wildstorm, with a really cool Gen 13 cover on there, with the Wildstorm 30 anniversary logo here. Wildstorm was originally an Image comic. When Jim Lee and his cohorts left Marvel and DC and created Image, Wildstorm, Wildcats, they were all they were all creations of Image. But eventually, I don't remember when it was, but Jim Lee came back to DC and I guess brought his rights with Wildstorm and Wildcats with him. And now it's a DC property, and they've infused it into the DC universe, and these 10 stories, maybe even more, really drive that home. I skimmed through a couple of them. I'm excited about the artwork, and I'm excited to take on reading this. So this is gonna be my there's the big anniversary logo down there. This is my big weekend read that I'm very excited to jump into. So I will do a solo review on that when I'm finished with it. Or put it into next week's reviews. But we have a stack pretty large, honestly. It's one of the larger weeks that I've had in a while. We're going to start with a AWA Upshot. This is 3 of 4. This is Erratic Recharged. I'm loving this series. I really want to jump back and read Erratic and some of the other stuff that's set to tie in with this. But I love the artwork. I like the cartoony, but not too cartoony, still rough draft-ish art style. This issue was interesting. He can only be a superhero for 10 minutes a day. So he has to spread those 10 minutes, and they're training to expand that, and the organization that's basically trying to take all these people that could possibly have powers out of society. It's a really weird concept. And it's being executed kind of this is corny. This would never fly. No principal or teacher would ever say yes to any of this, but they are. And then they ask questions, and then they give this silly answer that's very dark and ominous. I don't know. I can't say it, but then they're oh yeah, okay. I think that's hilarious, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to see what direction they're going. The weird stuff with his dad is really strange. I can't tell if there's a secret his dad's keeping, or his dad's just a weirdo. I'm excited. No brother in this book. They kind of pushed all the different elements though that I like in comics in this issue. So we rate them out of 10, 1 through 10. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10, easy. We jump into Image. In the Image Comics, like we talked about earlier, they're celebrating their 30th anniversary as well, obviously, being that Wildstorm and Image started at the same time. We have issue 4 of The Dead Lucky, which is a tie-in to the Radiant Black universe, the Massiverse. Me and my friends, Manny Reads Comics and Omnicity Comics over on Instagram, we used to have a show on Manny's YouTube channel. You can check it out, called The Weekly Roundup. We kind of stopped doing it. Yo, Zolfer, what's up? With that being said, we had mixed reactions to this. All of us jumped into Radiant Black around the same time when it first started. Loved it. Loved, enjoyed Radiant Red miniseries. Loved Supermassive. Really are enjoying Rogue Sun. And I've read half of Inferno Go Red, which hasn't been released yet, but the PDF was sent to anyone that kickstarted it. So I've read half of it and I love it. This was a slow burn, like a slow build. We're 4 issues in, right? And it's finally hooked me. I'm finally like, okay, this is good. I like the premise. I like the character. I like the idea and concept of the powers set here and how she's utilizing it. She basically, at the end of last issue, big explosion to save her parents, almost kills them, kind of realizes why she's seeing these ghosts and why they're like actual energy, and figure out how to use those abilities to her advantage. And that's really cool and really interesting. Solid artwork, awesome book. I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It was a solid book. And I think the fact of the matter is that I enjoyed this issue so much more than the last 3 issues that's given me faith in the series again, that I'm kind of biased. But we're going to hop into issue, what is this? Issue 8? Issue 8 of Rogue Sun. Awesome cover here. I wish these 2 series had more variant covers. It's kind of annoying. Like Rogue Sun, Radiant Black gets a ton, and these get like 1 each, and they're ratios and they're hard to get. This is a good issue. This series has been pretty consistently good, but has been giving me that like I'm waiting for something to happen to separate these characters from the powers and separate it from Radiant Black and make it like me like it, not for being the Supermassive verse. And this was it. The high school, like the training before school, the going to high school, that experience, like we've gotten a little bit of that in the earlier issues, but this was like, it felt sitcom, it felt Power Rangers, it felt good. And I liked it a lot, and I was really interested in this, and I like this new villain we're getting at the end, and I'm just excited, right? It's tying in a lot of things, it's pulling things together, and I'm really, really pumped to see where they go with this. And that's what I'm excited about. Also, awesome artwork, awesome cover. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. We'll move on to Marvel with the extreme variant for issue 2 of Strange Academy Finals. Also, I love some of these extreme covers. So this is a series where every issue, well, it's only 2 issues in, but like I'm just contemplating how I feel. I feel like we're getting like a lot, because we're getting a lot of Zoe through Midnight Suns, so it feels like I'm getting 2 Strange Academy stories at once. This issue didn't really deal with anything on the other side of the students that are like against them in the Dark Dimension. We didn't really get anything about that. Zoe's back. We get the confrontation going after Calvin, try to save him and all these kids that are in the wish machine. And I like that. And I like the story. I like the artwork here. I like the costume designs when they like kind of go into the alley. I enjoyed the shape of this issue. I'm still skeptical for the series as a whole. This is a series where I read 3 issues, dropped the series, came back when I saw things were going in a direction I kind of wanted to see. Read the last 3 issues or last 4 issues of that series. It ended. I think there was like a one-shot during like the death of Doctor Strange. Read that. It was cool. Read this. I'm kind of in that mindscape where I'm like, do I care about this? Do I not care about it? Like, it's enjoyable, but do I care about it? I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. We're going to move on to issue 3 of Exterminators. I think this issue is so much fun. David Nakayama cover, awesome. Love that. It's so good. It's just blatantly like crazy. Who does it say who's writing this? No, it's part of the Destiny of X though. Very, very good, fun series. So if you like humor, if you like X-Men, if you like X-Men humor, And if you like 3 characters that have light-based explosion powers, and Wolverine, you're gonna like this. It was super humorous, deals with vampires, and these guys have light-based powers, which was kind of funny that these vampires are hunting them down even though they have light-based powers. Like, really enjoyed this. And I like how the cutscenes between the main story is just a retelling while these 4 girls are sitting there at the Quiet Council telling like the people that lead Krakoa what happened. And I like that. And I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on to DC, we have issue 1 of Justice Society of America. This shocked me. I did not. This is the new Golden Age. I know we're getting a series called the Golden Age, I believe, through DC that I'm not gonna read. What happened to the JSA? I truly thought that this was like current, like, Huntress. I thought we were gonna deal with some event that happened coming out of Dark Crisis that, you know, affected these characters that are kind of back in the spotlight. But no, this is set in the future and involves time traveling to the past, and it involves, a massive spoiler alert, it involves Helena Wayne, which is the daughter of Catwoman and Batman, and she's assumed the identity of Huntress, and she was a part of this team with Power Girl and, I always say Ultra Girl, Power Girl and Dr. Fate, and they're dealing with this thing, and they reassemble this team with all these like former descendants of villains like Solomon Grundy and Gentleman Ghost and the new Icicle and Ruby, who's the descendant of the original Red Lantern that went up against Alan Scott. Stuff like that, like very interesting. I liked it. And then they all get wiped out, and Catwoman saves the day and sends her back into the past. What? Really cool. Caught me off guard. I'm super excited about this series. I'm so happy that I was skimming through because it was on my list, it was off my list, it was on my list, it was off my list. And then when I went in the shop, I skimmed through it. I said, this looks really good. I like the artwork here. I'm really interested in this. So I grabbed it. Didn't really read any of it. Shocked the heck out of me. I love this. 8. I want to give it a higher. It doesn't deserve higher than an 8. It's solid. It's solid all around, but 8 out of 10. Issue 1 of 6 of Blue Beetle Graduation Day. So I don't like that it's called Graduation Day because the graduation happens in the first issue at the beginning of this, and everything else is past Graduation Day. So it's like a metaphoric reference of like this miniseries is going to be his pushing off point back into like mainstream superhero, maybe the Justice League. So that's cool. I was nervous about this based off the cover, right? This is the A cover. I was nervous because this looks like the Young Justice, you know, TV show animation, like the way the Reach are drawn. Like, I was nervous that this was just like an adaptation of the Blue Beetle character as we know him from the show, and he was going to get a whole background new side cast of characters. But no, they mentioned Dark Crisis. Superman's in this. They mention his role in Dark Crisis, and this is tied into the main DCU continuity. I like the artwork. I do enjoy the concept and the character designs here. I'm excited about it. I'm really hyped to read the rest of this. Issue 1 was good. I like Jaime Reyes's dialogue, his personality, his, you know, position here, his character design. I like it. I'm down. He's having power issues. He jumps out, gets the transmission, can't understand the Scarab. Now he's back to square one. The Reach is back. Justice League, Batman and Superman are kind of grounding him, saying, no, you're not doing anything until we figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden at the end, he's getting sent away with his grandparents, and there's this golden Scarab girl tearing shit up. I'm invested. I'm clearly invested here. Blue Beetle is one of those weird side characters that feels like an indie. Well, Jaime Reyes is Blue Beetle. Like, I'm a fan of Blue Beetle and Booster Gold as a duo, right? Of Ted Cord. I am I'm a fan of them original DC. Like, I like it. They feel like DC characters. They're like the DC weird guys, right? With Guy Gardner and Ice and Fire. This feels like an indie character. It always has, in my opinion. It reminds me of Sideways, how Sideways feels and like acts like a indie character. Like I can't think of it. What is that Image book? Starts with an I. I'm never gonna get it. I don't have time to be pondering that. But yes, his character and his stories and his like whole thing feels like an indie character. Feels like early Spider-Man, like Peter Parker, teenager, thrown in the mix. All the other heroes in New York City around him, like, what are you doing? You're a kid. Like, I like Jaime, and as he gets a little older, and DC does that. They let their characters grow, which is a problem with Marvel. They have been forced to slowly age Peter Parker to the fact that he's basically done with college. Like, he's in his late 20s, like, and they won't let it go. They won't let it go. They keep trying to young him and keep him in college, and they're letting characters grow. Nightwing is a huge example of that. This character is a huge example. They're pushing him into college, they're pushing him to grow up, defend on his own, and now take on new challenges, even though the Justice League is like, no. I like it a lot. I'm going to give this a, what the heck, 8.5. 8.5 for that. Now we have two more issues. They're annuals. We got the Batgirls 2022 annual. This is basically issue 12.5. It leads right into issue 13. It shouldn't have even been an annual. This could have just been next month's issue. There's a body swap between these two Batgirls, Spoiler and Orphan. Both have villain fathers. Both have to deal with that. Basically at the end we get a massive spoiler that Sportsmaster that was teased, Cluemaster, he's Cluemaster, not Sportsmaster, right? That's his name, Cluemaster? Shit, I think it's Cluemaster, is alive, and it was teased by Riddler, but we didn't know. So spoilers, dad's alive and has what he thinks is her, but is actually Orphan in Spoiler's body. And then same thing with that, League of Assassins, always forgot her name, has her daughter. Really interested to see where that goes. I like this issue. It was a thicker issue. Art was good. I like the dialogue. I'm kind of annoyed that it wasn't annual because it felt like just a regular issue, but it was good. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm gonna move on to Nightwing annual. Boom. This was a continuation of ongoing stories, but it was mainly an origin story of Heartless. So we've been waiting for that for a while, since the start of this run. So this annual finally answered those questions and set up things that I'm excited about, right? And then we get some backup. We got a backup story with Bitewing, and I loved it. Artwork throughout this is awesome. This is a really solid issue. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. Awesome issue. With that being said, guys, these are my books. I'll quickly do a top 5. Oh wow, that's hard. Okay. This is a lot harder than I thought. Okay. This is it. This is easy top 5. Let's do it. Order is crazy. Yeah. So we're gonna go 5 is Rogue's Son. Blue Beetle is going to be 4. 3 will be Exterminators, followed by Nightwing, and the number 1 is just Society of America. That is my top 5 for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out my YouTube channel at The Vinyl Casket. All one word, where you can subscribe, like, and comment, the bell. Remember, drop me a comment about what you're reading, what you think about the books I talked about, what I should pick up. And remember, do me a massive favor and stay lame.